Alrighty then, mic check, mic check. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you are following us over here on Facebook and Skip on the Twitter. Hit us up there on Parler and Instagram. And of course here on YouTube. Let me turn that music on down. Welcome aboard. My name is Emini. Get over here into our Discord chat, because if you're not in there, you're going to be a little bit lost when I'm trying to point you to some locations to get some information. Here tonight, we are going to be talking about targeting. Targeting is a very big deal in what we do. Talking about being able to take a trade from, all right, there maybe $100, $200 trade into $1,000, $2,000 trade. This is kind of where the rubber meets the road. This is kind of that advanced level stuff here tonight. We're not going to go into entry strategy things tonight. This is kind of post entry. You've gotten into your entry and you are looking to build into a position, either add to the position, or you're making that decision point as to whether or not you're going to be going for target 1, or you're going to be skipping on target 1 and we're going to be hitting target 2 or 3 in our targeting. And this came from some of the questions some of our members put in. Let's come on down here to our simulation and show you guys kind of what we're going to be talking about here tonight. So one of the questions that came up in our Discord room, again, this is our Discord room. If you have not been in there, again, hop on in there. This is the public chat. One of the questions that we're going to address here tonight was around using VL 1, 2, and 3. And let's see who posted that in. The tools of the work. We'll also kind of cover some of this from Ryan. Here we go, from Tommy P, asking specifically about VL 1, 2, and 3. And then this kind of went into some of the questions here around Neon talking about whipsaws and entries with, again, whipsaw. I don't like when people use that term because I don't talk about it. You'll never hear me say whipsaw, but I know what he means. Again, use my terms, folks. You guys are bringing in your old trash into our room. Be careful. Whipsaw is too generic a term, but what you're talking about is holding into a position for a little bit longer, and some of that has to do with timing, so we'll cover that a little bit. And of course, letting the tools do the work. Let's get into some of those. So, letting the tools do the work. If I'm going to take into an entry, we've got several ways that we are going to be dealing with our targeting. Now, this should be some review. If you have not, again, take none of our videos alone, folks. Go back and go through the lessons in order. But this is going to be a little bit of some rehash. But we want to be looking at big, small. This is for our ATMs. Okay, ATMs, big or small, but yeah, this one we've kind of drilled pretty hard, right? You guys should have seen a whole lot of this, but now let's go to something on the other side of that. How do we start to push out our targets? How do we look for things that we are going to target if we are not going to our default inside of our ATM? So what do I mean by that? So if I'm going to fire off an ATM and I'm going to be doing a small, for our example first. So for a small, we are going to have a 10 tick target, right? For our default 10 tick, 15 tick target, and then we are looking for a default of a 15 stop, of course, and shift, right? So what I mean by that is, again, this is our hard stop, that with the absolute, we're looking for the maximum drawdown. Worst case scenario, that if the market just flipped back on us instantaneously, the worst case scenario is our 15 tick. But again, we want to be closing out on, for instance, we're going to show the examples of the crosses here tonight. Stop should be at the bottom of the crosses, or a dot break and we're closing it there, or of course in a shark back at that shaded area. So you guys should already kind of be familiar with this stuff. If you're not, go back to the videos and review. But let's talk about that default ATM. So for firing off this one, this is always my question mark. Okay, so people want to get inside of my head. Where is the thought work? Okay, because most of our system, everything just comes out of the box. We're doing everything basically just click the button. This is where we're going. This is where we're entering. This is where we're exiting. This is the beautiful part. Now, if there's any levels of question, it comes right here on target 1. So what do I mean by this? Okay, target 1 is the option. Okay, of anything, if there's anything optional, I'll put in a, let's see, can I do red here? Yeah, let me do it. All right, is the optional target. This is the most functional target right here, and I'll show you guys how I'm doing that in a live trade type of scenario in moving this. Now, how do I move this target? Okay, how do I move the T1? Okay, we'll talk about tags okay? Get good at this, folks, okay? We're gonna go over this little skill here tonight in migrating your tags, moving the tags quickly. We also got some more details in our last video on NinjaTrader 8 in how to move all of our stops all at the same time and some targets that are grouped. We'll go over some of this as well. So I am deciding when I'm entering into a position whether or not I want target 1 or not. Now, that's a little bit of a weird question, right? Because don't we, you know, we pretty much always want, I mean, we want target 1, okay? So if I'm, let's do an entry down here, okay? So I'm gonna take draw a line right here. This will be my entry. We'll do a stop down here. All right, and we'll do some green targets, and we'll do this one here. So here is T1. This would be T2, and for T3, just to be nice and colorful, we're going to put this up here like this. So how are we deciding? Okay, we want to focus right here on this target 1. Now, target 1 is going to have a little tag. Okay, each one of these is going to have. Let's see if I can do a little square here.
Valid color dog alert.
Do like this. Okay. This guy, you need to just get very good at grabbing this tag and pushing it out, okay? Literally, you're going to click, move, click. Okay, click, move, click. This is what you need to be thinking in your head. Click, move, click, click, move, click. This is a little bit of one of those, you know, it's a mechanical skill that you're gonna need to grab, okay? That you're gonna need to be able to grab this, click, then we're moving, and then we are clicking at the next location that you may wanna be. The most common thing for me is actually not to move it to target 2, okay? I am typically going to click, move, click, and I'm gonna click this somewhere around my target 3, okay? And I will almost always click right on it, but sometimes it's near it. Let's not be picky on it. Just assume that I'm gonna drop it on T3 on a regular basis, okay? Now, if you don't have a T3, you need to estimate, okay? Because if you're going in on a 2 contract trade, you may not have a T3, but I'm just trying to toss it up and out of the way. Why? Why am I gonna do this? This is when I am thinking, okay, I've got a small trade. Sure, I want target 1, don't I? Yes, on a small, I always want to be thinking target 1. But if you are entering in on an ATM and you initially see it as small, but something gives you additional reason to go, you know what? I think this is that one. Especially if you're ahead in your count. I don't have I've got my trading paper. Oh, I can't reach it. It's on the other side, in the other system. You guys know the trading paper. If I'm ahead in my cycle on my 5 trades, I definitely want to be looking for that bigger position. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab out this target 1. I'm going to push it out to target 3 and look for a bigger position. All right. So we're basically shifting from a small to a big. Okay, when are we looking for that shift to a big trade? Okay, so you can turn a small trade into big by simply moving and shifting this out, right? I think you guys kind of get the point on that. Let's go into some examples. Let me make sure I've covered what I want there. Target 1 is always one I'm gonna be moving. Target 2 and target 3 I'm less dealing with. I'll talk about using the close button when we've got the actual buttons there, but this, yeah, that should be it for understanding kind of what we're about to do, okay? Grabbing the small, going out to the big. This will make more sense when we see it into the live examples, okay? So we had one right here setting up earlier. Let me pull back the screen that was up before this trade started to settle in here. Here's what this looked like originally, okay? Focus down here on this section, okay? We've got multi-cross scenarios here. I've got longs favorable. I'm going to be looking for a reversal here, especially around looking for, look at this, good double king timing, right? So whereas I may originally, because I don't have, you know, there's nothing else but crosses here. I don't have another additional green. I don't have, well, actually I do. There's a PRZ down here, but are these crosses inside of it? No. So I've got a little bit of a hesitation on this, but I'm having this feeling that this is going to be a good spot to take it long. What are some other reasons why I might want to be looking long? Well, you see all this? I mean, the entire algo matrix is solid green. I look up at my 89. What do I got right here? I've got double dots up here on the 89 range. That's the biggest time frame. I am clearly pushing up and out of this area on the wave. I've got a blue dot as my most recent, you know, well, actually, no, I see a red. I do see a red up here, so I can't say that that's the most recent. But we've got a lot of reasons why we are looking long, right? And then my next nearest time frame, we've got some big pushes up in the upper direction. So let's just go with, I've got my reasoning why I want to be looking to the long side. I've got longs favorable on top of all that. So should I be looking small or big here on this position? That's always a question. Well, let's say that I'm a little hesitant because I didn't have a perfect entry here because well, the crosses aren't actually inside the PRZ. I'm a little bit behind on it, so I'm gonna dip my toe in the water for the first part of the trade. But as I am pressing that button, let's go ahead and punch one right here. We are in sim for the moment, but you'll see, let's go big screen here, and let's zoom in to those targets. Okay, now originally what we're looking for is trying to get an entry down here. And earlier when I was looking at this position, it's exactly when I wanted to be able to try to take this trade. Normally we're going to be entering in on a cross, right? Now, where's our stop going to be on a cross? Well, we want the stop to push up, and we want to be right below the cross, right? So I'm moving my stop up underneath the cross. Now, mind you, normally I'm going to be entering in right here, one of these little centerpieces. So my stop is this, right? This is my risk, okay? And now I'm looking for my reward. I want it to be approximately at least 2 times that off of my target 2. Okay, for target 2, it should be up there somewhere. A little bit different here because I'm just trying to take this right now because I want to show you guys what we're going to be looking at. So this is a box I drew right before we kind of started into this video. And this is like your risk box. All right, I'm going to Control C, Control V. So I'm going to copy that box and we'll see if we kind of stack these up here. Let's look for double that. Let's paste another one and let's grab this guy. And it's moving on up here. Is that music still a little bit too loud? Let me break that down a little bit farther. Okay. So first thing I might be looking at instantly, the first thing I'm always thinking is, can I move? Oh no, why is everything getting choppy on me? My OBS is having issues. Oh, this is why I can't stream on this machine. Okay, so I want to, oof, this is so choppy. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this tag. So here's my click, move, click that I was telling you guys about, right? I'm clicking, I'm moving. Now, I would normally just drop it right on this tag. I'm gonna keep it separate for right now just so we can kind of see how this operates. But I'm just instantly thinking, I wanna push this straight out. Now, what are some things that might cause me to be pushing this farther out? Okay. Let's fire off another trade here real quick. What? Now my Ninja Trader wants to be fiddle farting around on me. Oh my word. Alright, we're having technical issues. Let's, can I switch over to 5, 10, 15, let's do this one here. Oh my word, what is happening? Alright, demo fail. That's why I don't trade on this box. Okay, so, I didn't install the latest on this yet either. Okay, so moving out my targets, we have a nice juicy ladder sitting up here. This is the first thing that should give you a clue. Things about targeting that I want to kind of get in here tonight, and sorry that other part took a little bit longer than I wanted to. So targeting, okay? Things that I want to target. In our system on AlgoBox, we are going to draw these out for you. We're drawing them ahead of time, right? I want to put my targets out there on PRZ, these are PPRZs, okay? This is predicted PRZ zones, and I'm looking for a position to push out into these locations. This is a perfect opportunity for me to do that. There's a couple things that I want to show for some of those things, including VL1, 2, and 3. Now, I normally do not like VL1, 2, and 3 on my lowest time frames, but if you have them, and I know a lot of people are putting them on their charts, you know, it's fine if you want to use them. I do not use these for entries. This is the main thing I want to talk about with these, okay? People have been asking about VL1, 2, and 3s. These are, you know, your typical support resistance stuff. Ours also includes volume, so that's why they're called VL. These are volume levels that are included on these. To me, they kind of, you know, they tend to, when I'm real small like this in my charts, there start to be a few too many lines on my chart. See, it gets a little, to me, it's a little bit messy, and I don't know that these are that super important, but if you are using them, and if you like them, and if your screens are set up where they're a little bit larger, then you may be able to keep that, and I wish I would have been able to add to that position there, but here we go. We're coming up into our PRZs already. We heard the cha-ching sound, so our stop already moved up. Now we have another white cross back here, so what should we be doing? I'm gonna move my stop up back behind the white cross. Again, I wish I would have added that position. But as far as targeting, I am moving my targets up into either VL1, 2s, and 3s. If you see those can be used as targets, or PRZs. So VL1, 2, and 3, remember, please do not use those for entries. Let me say that one more time. Okay, These are basically support resistance zones. Do not use these as entries. This is a total noob move. Do not do this, folks. Okay, this is what they teach you in kindergarten class. And by kindergarten class, I mean every scammer out there. Okay, we love you guys, scammers. You guys hand us all of our money. We really appreciate you guys, donating to our cause. But folks, do not enter in on SR lines. Okay, support and resistance. The only thing that works about support and resistance is it doesn't work. Do not use support and resistance. We are going to bust through those areas. That's why we use them for targets. Okay, do not use them for entries. Only use them for targets. Okay, that is what makes you pro. All right, pro move, only for targets. Got that? Okay, VL 1, 2, and 3, only for targets, not for entries. So in a case like this, if I've got my VL 1, 2, and 3 out here, do you see there's VL 1? Okay, but I want something bigger. Look what lines up right here. Okay, zoom in. Can you see what's lining up? I got my zone right there. I've got my zone right here. Okay, this is the meat of my target. So when I want to throw out my target out to this area, this is where now I might decide, okay, I want to pull my target in and I'm going to put it into the meat of this zone right about here. All right, let's see if this is going to work for us live and on the fly here this evening. We've been having some pretty decent luck with those recently while we are doing our live events. Last time we crushed it all the way to targets 1, 2, and 3. Not pre-planned, but just how we do. Now, what is this called? Pop quiz time. While we are here and having to wait for this trade to go, what is this? What is this combo? Combo kill. All right, pop quiz time. What is it? If you said headshot, give yourself a pat on the back. If you caught the HMD in there as well, congratulations. You've got a little HMD right in there. You got the dot, you got a little mini PRZ, okay? HMD, you got the cross within striking distance of this sucker here, within a few bars. Now, is this a perfect headshot? No. Well, do I count it as a headshot? I do. All right, here we go. We're going into our targets here. Now, if this trade were to break down on me, obviously I'm not giving away nothing. So at this point, this is where I start to lock in my targets, lock in my profits, okay? So my worst case scenario, I'm locking in the profit up underneath those PRZ zones. Let's see if we get all the way up and in there. I believe we will. Now, the only thing I am kicking myself for is not being able to have gotten a little bit larger, as I have no idea what is going on with, I'm gonna press it again just to see what happens. Dude, I do not know what this is.
Target
Something's
filled.
going on with the old Ninja Trader OCO orders. But there it is. All right, targets filled. So we want to keep these videos a little bit shorter. We are trying to get straight to the points. So on our targets, I am going to be grabbing target 1 most often. Now, I would love to be able to do, let me close this whole thing out, see if I can do another one now. Can I sell? Man, it's not letting me take any more. How about this one? Well, that's so weird. Something with that. Get the latest version of Ninja Trader, folks. I've got on this machine. I don't want to say never, but I haven't updated this one recently. Okay, so this one's gonna work. Let's close this out. Let me take a, so let's do some more examples here. So we still long's favorable. Let's see if we can do some examples of pushing out targets. Okay, I want you to get good at that click, move, click thing that I was talking about for being able to go through positions. All right, so I can't do it from the lower one, right? So I can only do it from the top one. Very odd, but here we go. Okay, so I'm entering into my position long, and I'm gonna move this down, and boom, here it is, target 1. Right, I'm grabbing this sucker. Where am I putting it? I'm throwing it out here. I always talk about throwing it. When I say I'm throwing my target 1 out, okay, you'll hear me say, all right, throwing my target out. That means, like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more than target 1, so I wanna push this out here somewhere, okay? I'm gonna throw it out there. Nowhere. Now, again, if I'm going up and we're pushing up, we get that target 2, and I see any kind of, well, maybe not, that's where I'm up here, and what am I using? Using my close button as well, okay? Close button is your friend. Make sure you are taking profits, all right? You want to be putting that money away, put it in the bank, And for our targeting, what are we using? We've got VL 1, 2, and 3 that we can use for targets. We can use EMAs of higher time frames. So if we've got the golden ropes, not in this case, they're not anywhere close to us, so we've got nothing above us to be looking for bigger targets. We got nothing up here either. So what am I looking for? There is a VL1 up here on the MACV, might be a good spot to be looking for, or we've got these PRZ targets. This is what we're using for our targeting. Most oftentimes when I'm going to be pushing out my targets, that's what I'm going to be looking for those PRZs and VL1, 2, and 3. Now again, the VL1, 2, and 3 I don't usually use on my lowest time frames. I'm typically going to be looking at a higher time frame for that VL1, 2, and 3. Okay, you guys here understand that? So you see the blue down here, VL1, VL2 that you see here. Up top, they're going to be red overhead. I will be looking for those, and I'm usually looking at the back side of those. I'm not using the front. I'm not trying to front run those because, look, hardly ever do support and resistance typically work, especially on the first try. Okay, they're going to come into an area, they're going to punch it, they're going to test it 2 or 3 times. Oftentimes, they're going to wreck stops on the other side of it. So that's why we use them for targets. I want to use those as targets. I'm not playing those as entry locations. I'm not even using them for additional confluence. Although I see some traders in our room say that all the time. Be careful of that. That's not something I teach. I do not teach you guys to enter on support and resistance. Support and resistance are for losers. All right, call Tom Dante up and ask him about support and resistance if you really need some support and resistance help. But if you're needing that, you need more help than I can give you. The question around the zips, the whipsaws there. We will leave that be until we've got some examples. And let's see if there's anything else. We have 2 minutes to cover anything else. I'd like to cover in this inverted right analogy. What was that question that was on confluence? But rate option. Okay. All right, folks. So that'll kind of conclude our session there. Hopefully, you guys got something out of that as far as my targeting, how I'm going to be pushing out. Now, typically, I'm going to be getting onto bigger positions than that. I wish the first one would have worked earlier because right now it's not really a position. This is not a spot that I'll be getting into a position. I hope you guys, you guys can obviously see that, right? So that other one was a great example. We did have plenty of reasons to be getting long at that spot, but a little bit harder for me to do live example on that one. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more of those at the beginning of the year. We'll try to get a separate system set up where I can do that once or twice per week with you guys, and we'll see if we can commit to some of that. We just released the latest version of AlgoBox for NinjaTrader 8. NinjaTrader 8 also released their latest version. You guys need to make sure you go and get that. They have upgraded .NET 4.8, which is awesome. Fixes some of the common language runtime scenarios, so go and pick that up, install it. You guys know the drill. If you've not been in our Discord before, again, head on over here. If you were wanting to know about the strategies that we were talking about tonight, HMD, headshot, what in the world is that stuff? Over here in the education section on the left, you will see that right here, and go in here to the sections that say strat. So if you're looking for the HMD, here it is on the left where it says strat HMD, and right above it you'll see strat headshot if you want to take a peek at some of the screenshots. Again, picture's worth 1,000 words. I mean, not too hard to figure out what a headshot is. There it is. You get a dot plus a cross, kind of picturing a head with a bullseye on it. That's that one. And of course our HMD is a harmonic PRZ with our Fibella dots inside. Very, very powerful combos. That is how we play the video game of trading and our little cheat called AlgoBox. Thanks for hanging out, folks. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbot, Mod Squad, Curtis, G, and the rest of the gang. I'm sitting out of the Big H Town. See ya.